Hey, this is Darren. I wanted to show you a project that we're working on. We have a screened-in back porch here, and the screens are in horrible shape. In fact, I mean, there's holes all in them, and so you can see some small holes here. Like, look, so you got little smalls like this right there. Where's my finger? There it is, like right there. But then we would be sitting out on the back porch, and we would see a chipmunk run across inside our screened-in porch, and it's because of holes like this. So this thing is in super bad shape, and so what we're going to do is we are going to rescreen it, and we're actually going to paint the exterior of this back porch. And so I'm going to be giving just like little updates on this. One of the first things that we're doing is we have to take out these trim pieces right here, because these pieces fit into these channels, okay? And those channels have the spline in them right there that actually holds the screen in. And we'll be going through those things, but I've already started taking some of these pieces down. You can see here, they just kind of pull right out. And but this is the before. There you can see, and you can see it's kind of this red color, and we're gonna do something a little different this time. So anyway, we'll be walking through this and keeping you updated on how it's going. All right, so here we are. You can see Parker in the background. He's over there, super excited about using crud cutter on the little pieces. Show him how bad it is, Parker. Like how dirty it is. Like you can see just how bad it is. And he's using crud cutter and getting them all cleaned up because we're gonna paint them in a little bit. But here's kind of, after we pull those off, what the next challenge is to get the spline out. And that can be really hard because basically you've got to get in there and basically kind of dig in and get that started. And it's not so bad on the sides where the spline is not dried out and all nasty, but it's actually, when it's kind of flexible, then it's not too bad. And so you go in there and you kind of grab that like that, and you pull it like that, and that gets it kind of out. So anyway, so I'm going around and getting all those. On the other side, I've gotten the screens off, and I'll check back in a minute. Okay, so here's an update on where we are so far. As you can see, we've got these screens up here, and this is my favorite part right here. Ooh, nice and tight on that. All right, so the way that this worked is that what I did was I had pieces of screen, the width of which would cover this span, okay, the distance here. And so then it was just a matter of rolling the sheets out and pulling them across and using a tape measure to stretch it out and cut it as straight as I could. I use these. I recommend these. These are like super great shears. These are actually Cutco scissors, but any type of utility knife will do. And I would cut it to length, and then from there I would use you have to get some of this, and this is spline. And this spline, for this we used 0.6, and that's just because that's what was on there before. This is called spline, and you buy it in 25-foot lengths at Lowe's. And so you take this, and the way I started was at the top. I would take it at the top and just try to hold it parallel. And then, so I'm gonna act like this is the top piece, but you just kind of lay it in this track, okay? And so you put it right there. And then as you put it in the track, you use a splining tool, which is one of these, And I used to have one of these at my house when I was growing up that my dad had, and I never I never knew what this thing was, but now I know what it was. But anyway, so you just take that and you're just rolling it on the spline there. And the key part is just to have somebody that's holding it straight. You can use tape. I actually did that on a piece over there where you can put a piece of painter's tape up there just to hold it as you're rolling it into that groove to get it tight so that it holds it up. After you get it held up to the top, then you just go and you put the spline down the right-hand side. And then after you do it on the right-hand side, then you can go and over to the left. And as you're doing it, it's important to be pulling on the outside of it as you're pulling down with the spline and rolling down so that you get this nice tight feel to it. And so then after that, after you pull out, after you put the spline all in there, you'll have some overlay of screen. And from that point, you can just use a knife or a utility knife or something and just go along the screen there and just cut off the excess on the edges. And so now you can see that we have pretty much all of our screening done. And we had about 14 sections that we had to do. And so it was a little bit of a job to get that done. And what we're doing is you can buy new pieces of the trim piece, but they're like $5 a section. And there was really nothing wrong with the plastic pieces that we had. And so what we decided to do was just paint them flat black. And you can see Leo's out here painting those. And then we're just gonna pop those back onto those channels. And it'll basically have the same look. It's just that you won't be able to see the screws. That's just an extra piece of screen that I haven't trimmed at the top. But so anyway, this is kind of a part of our porch redo. We still have some more painting to do. We're gonna paint this section right here and get that done. But anyway, we're getting closer. And once we get the painting done and get the trim pieces back up, we'll give you another view of what's going on then. See ya. All right, so here's where we are. We got the screens up and I'm actually working now to put on these trim pieces. You can see this is what they look like now. We've got them black spray painted and they look really great. And it's really coming together. You can kind of see we painted what was red is now gray. And so we're working on that, but also, and I'm also replacing the screen doors. But right now I wanted to show you what exactly is going on with these trim pieces and the way that we have to put them in. You can see this one right here, I've already got in partially. And what I'm using for this is the rubber hammer, right? Rubber mallet. And I'm using a rag to keep on top of the spray painted trim just to make sure nothing chips off. And so I'm gonna try to show you a little bit of the way I'm doing this. So let me get here. Right here. So basically I'm just taking the rubber mallet and hitting on the cloth and it just snaps into piece. You might have heard that snap. I'm gonna do it one time without the cloth so you can kind of see how it works. But basically you're just hitting that and it's wedging itself into the track. And so that's the great thing about this system that they have on here is that you're really just kind of popping that in. And then from there, really the important thing is just getting pieces in the right place. We did on the back of all these pieces as we took them off, we numbered and labeled them so you could kind of see, because we wouldn't be able to remember. You can see that right there. But so that we kind of remember where they go and match it up. So hopefully we won't have any cutting or anything like that we have to do. But you can kind of see, I'll back up here a little bit so you can see a little more of, there's the new door right there that I put in. But you can see now it's so much cleaner, the screens. You really take it for granted how much better these new screens look. So anyway, I'm gonna work at getting this finished up, and I'll do a check-in with you once we get everything painted and show you the final product. All right, so here we are. We've painted the doors and we fixed the screen, and you can kind of see this. We put some doorknobs on the outside and painted this wood door to match the trim, which looks real nice. Real happy with it. And you can see that we finished up with this. Some of this needs some touch up because we did paint the plastic, and so we're gonna have to touch up some of this. But as you can see, it's a much neater look than it was before. The wood was the red color and the trim pieces were white, and the screens were brown because they had been here for 20 years. So this has really finished off our area, and it's a real, honestly, because we repainted the trim, it was a really inexpensive redo for our outside area that really makes it look a lot neater and really just more high-end. So anyway, if you have any questions about this, feel free to call us or email us and let us know. So anyway, have a great weekend.